In Hunter x Hunter, there are a lot of powers and abilities called Nen abilities that enhance the characters in the series. Some are pretty simple, with people getting an increase in strength or speed or endurance, while others are unbelievably complicated, like that one guy with the power to cripple you using the economy. So today we're going to go down a list of the top 10 Nen abilities in Hunter x Hunter and explain them for you so you have an easier time understanding what's going on next time you decide to binge watch the series. This video may contain spoilers for those of you who haven't seen the anime, so be sure to watch at your own risk. Without wasting any time, let's hop right into it. Number 10. Dragon Head, Xenozoldyck. Xeno may be old, but that doesn't mean he's one to be messed with. Xeno, being a Zoldyck assassin, is one of the best killers in the world, with impressive strength, speed, and agility, and that's without his Nen abilities. Xeno is an emitter type with incredible mastery over his Nen abilities. His aura alone is enough to force experienced and skilled fighters into a fight or flight. His main ability is the power to manifest a tangible aura around himself in the shape of a dragon. He calls this Dragon Head, and it has many variants for maximum damage. Xeno usually shoots the dragon out as a projectile towards his opponents, but can also use it for transport, as it can continue to exist for a long amount of time even after it has been ejected from his body. He can also control the dragon head with incredible precision, using it in an ability called Dragon Lance. As well as that, he can also get above his opponent and shatter the dragon head into multiple smaller aura dragons, which he rains down on his opponents in a huge area of effect. To take someone on like Xeno, you have to be incredibly skilled and experienced, and even then, you're not guaranteed to win. With his incredible control over his Nen abilities and his great intelligence, underestimating him for his advanced age is one of the deadliest mistakes anyone can make. Number 9. Bungee Gum and Texture Surprise, Hisoka Moro.
Yeah.
Hisoka is an interesting character. He has a deep interest in the potential of the next generation, and nope, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, the guy's a creep, but a powerful creep at least. He's constantly in search of new strong opponents and takes a very specific interest in Gon and Killua and has a sadomasochistic view of fighting. Regardless of that, Hisoka is a strong fighter, and his bloodlust for other strong fighters has only made him grow more power to satisfy his deranged interests. As anyone that's watched the show has heard a million times from Hisoka himself, Bungee Gum, his Nen ability, possesses the properties of both rubber and gum. But along with this incredibly over-explained ability, Hisoka has also shown to be able to expertly manipulate his aura. This aura can be incredibly bounced, stretchy, and adhesive, allowing him to use it to push, pull, and manipulate any object he wants. It's also very durable, not easily cut if affected by direct attacks or even sharp objects. Hisoka has been shown using the ability to forcibly pull opponents towards himself, as well as lay traps by attaching projectiles to them, allowing him to kill them instantly without anyone being able to react. Number 8. Chain-based techniques, Kurapika. Kurapika is a calm, level-headed, and intelligent individual with enough power to have gained the interest of Hisoka. Hisoka described him as a green fruit with much potential, which, other than the obviously strange intentions behind that description, shows that even Hisoka, who regularly fights and kills powerful opponents, sees great potential in Kurapika. Those aren't just empty observations either. Even though he was weaker than Killua in the beginning, his Nen abilities eventually allowed him to outpace Killua by the York New City arc. He is one of the few characters, the others being Hisoka and Silva, to have killed a member of the infamous Phantom Troop, and a very potent one. Kurapika is a conjurer, which means he can create objects out of thin air, and his choice of weaponry is a unique set of 1 to 5 chains that extend from each finger on his right hand. When his eyes turn red, he becomes a specialist, which means he becomes an expert in every Nen user category. However, the price paid for this massive boost is huge, as for every second he spends in the specialist mode, he loses 1 hour of his lifespan.
折れた腕も自己治癒力の強化で
Number 7. Pain Packer and Rising Sun, Phaeton Porter.
灼熱に変えて
Phaeton Porter is a member of the Phantom Troop and is deeply involved with their activities. He's also a very formidable Nen user with some interesting types of Nen abilities like Pain Packer and Rising Sun. Pain Packer is a defensive ability that activates when Phaeton takes a heavy hit, summoning armor to protect him from further damage. This armor helps boost his aura and protects him from damage that would be fatal otherwise. The ability to summon things makes Phaeton a conjuration type, as well as an emission type with this ability to detach his aura in preparation for an attack. Rising Sun is exactly what it sounds like. Phaeton releases a mini sun with the power to incinerate anything it touches in an instant. The intensity of the sun, as well as how long it lasts, depends on how much pain Phaeton has endured, making it a weirdly masochistic ability. Thanks to the armor provided by Pain Packer, Phaeton is completely unaffected by the heat no matter how hot it burns. Phaeton is a deadly opponent to go up against. The more you hit him, the stronger he gets. How do you beat someone like that as an average fighter?
夜寝てしかとなでだらかいたかのマジ
Number 6. Godspeed, Killua Zoldyck.
マジかよあれか抱えてる
Next up, we have Killua, the second protagonist and a character who never fails to steal the show. Killua is mischievous, fun-loving, and intuitive, but that is only one side of him. His other half is ruthless and bloodthirsty, supported by his insane ability and battle instinct. Killua is a transmuter type and uses a powerful Nen ability called Godspeed. It's dramatically inspired by the electric shocks he suffered in his childhood. Killua gains enhanced physical and mental senses in this mode and becomes nearly unstoppable. While Godspeed is enabled, Killua can run at an estimated speed of 150 miles per hour. As well as that, Killua gains sharp reflexes, allowing him to automatically react to all attacks, making it pretty much impossible to land a hit on him. Even if you do manage to hit him, the large electric charge running through his body sends a shocking pulse to anyone that touches him. Killua also has a technique called Thunderbolt that allows him to project a bolt of lightning from his fingers. He can do this from a considerable range away, allowing him to shock his opponents from up close and far away. Number 5. Skill Hunter, Crollo Lucifer. Crollo is a calm, intelligent man and a natural-born leader. He's also very confident in his abilities, and for good reason too. He's a specialist and has great control over his Nen abilities, even surpassing the masters in terms of his talent. His Zetsu is flawless, which means he can sneak up and kill opponents without leaving any trace of bloodlust. His ability allows him to steal and use the Nen abilities of others as his own through a conjured book known as Bandit's Secret. There are certain criteria, however, before he can take an ability. Crollo must have seen the Nen ability in action with his eyes. He must have asked questions about Nen and have been answered by the victim, and his victim's palm must touch the handprint on the cover of Bandit's Secret. All of this must also have happened within an hour. If he successfully pulls it off, the victim can no longer use their abilities, and Crollo gains full ownership and mastery of a new ability. With something as powerful as that, he can gain the power of anybody he meets as long as they aren't suspicious of his tricks.
もうターゲットではないのでな。
そう意外だな。もうないよ、こんなチャンス。
Number 4. Limitation Transformation, Gon Freaks. Gon Freaks, just like Killua, is a fun-loving and cheerful kid with intense horsepower hidden behind the hood. He's an enhancer, which means that he can increase his already remarkable levels of strength and endurance. When in a state of immense emotional distress, Gon formed a vow and unlocked his most powerful transformation, Limitation Transformation. In this state, he summoned all the power he'll ever have, transforming into an adult at the peak of his condition where he could defeat Pito. In this transformed state, Gon's physical abilities as well as his aura and nen abilities increased to such an incredible height that even Pito feared him. The incredible increase in power came with a huge downside as Gon compressed his lifespan and willingly threw away his predisposition to nen. The result was a permanent loss of his ability to use the nen. He managed to defeat Pito, but his body started to decay after he returned to normal and he required constant life support. He did eventually make a full recovery but remained unable to see or use aura. The exact nen types involved in this ability aren't clear, but it's theorized to just be an extreme form of enhancement. Number 3. 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva, Isaac Netero. Isaac Netero is another oldie on this list that should never be underestimated. He's an enhancer and has a reputation as the most powerful nen master in his prime. Even with his advanced age, and he himself acknowledging that his time at the top has passed, Isaac still manages to be one of the strongest and most formidable opponents to face in the series. His most dangerous nen ability, 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva, can be classified under multiple nen types, and he has excellent understanding of his control of nen, allowing him to create abilities that perfectly fit his skills. 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva summons a multi-armed construct that takes on the form of a gigantic statue of Guanyin. The massive towering nen construct can be summoned and controlled with Isaac's immense speed in far less than a tenth of a second. This means that thousands of strikes are possible in a minute. A large number of arms makes for an infinite possible number of combinations. Number 2. Aura Synthesis, Meruem.
Now then.
Meruem was a cruel and violent leader who considered himself superior to all other forms of life and felt no concern for his dying mother after his birth. His mother, the queen, had the intention to give birth to a perfect offspring, and she succeeded with Meruem, who grew to be merciless as he killed off any chimera ant he deemed to be disrespectful. His nen ability gave him even more cause to be self-confident. He's an emitter type, which means he has a vastly superhuman amount of aura than that of the average person. In fact, his aura exceeds even that of the royal guards. His ability, Aura Synthesis, allows him to increase the size of his aura by devouring other nen users. When Meruem eats the flesh of other nen users, their auras mix with his own, making him even more powerful. In some special cases, depending on who he devours, he can even gain their nen abilities as well. While it's not known just how much of a nen user he has to consume in order to synthesize with their aura and gain their nen ability, it is theorized that it may be related to his proficiency in nen and his abilities beforehand.
だとしたら、なんという強さ。暴力こそこの世で最も強い力。
Before we get into our number 1 pick, let's take a moment to look at some honorable mentions. Number 1. Wish Granting, Nanika. Considering the powerful abilities we've talked about so far, what insane abilities can possibly top them all? Well, that would be Nanika. Nanika has the extraordinary ability to grant wishes like the genie in a lamp if the lamp was a cute little girl and the genie was a mysterious, unknown interdimensional being. It is a mysterious creature that resides in Aluka Zoldek's body that only appears under certain circumstances. After a person grants 3 of Aluka's requests, Nanika takes control of Aluka's body in order to grant 1 wish. Anyone around when Nanika appears can make the wish regardless of who fulfilled Aluka's request, and there are an infinite number of possibilities for the wish. The wish can range from simple tricks like levitation to universe-altering and reality-bending requests. This means that Nanika's power is multiversal, and she can seemingly do anything she wants across time and space with no consequences to herself. However, it's not just a free well of wishes. There are rules in place that must be strictly followed for someone to access Nanika's power. 1. The difficulty of Aluka's requests slowly increases, and if someone gets killed while trying to fulfill Aluka's request, the difficulty level returns to the beginning. 2. Aluka cannot make requests to someone without knowing their name. 3. While Nanika can grant only 1 wish at a time, she can be given several conditions to make the wish more favorable for the requester. 4. In order to perform any healing wish, Nanika must make direct contact with the target. And lastly, 5. Killua has a special privilege of issuing a command, which can be granted to him without any repercussions. Despite how seemingly convoluted the path towards encountering Nanika is, there's no doubt that her powers are the strongest out of anyone else mentioned here. That was a list of the strongest Nen abilities in Hunter x Hunter. Did some of your favorites make it onto the list? Why don't you leave a comment down below if you don't agree with something on the list, or if you just want to say thanks for our hard work getting all this info so you don't have to. And hey, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.